Welcome to the Kenny Pickett Show on Panther-Lair.com, presented by Well Hive. He's Kenny Pickett from Pitt Football. I'm Chris Peak from Panther-Lair.com. And Kenny, we're talking. You finally actually played some real football. You guys had an actual game at Heinz Field on Saturday. UMass, a 51-7 win. Certainly the kind of outcome you guys were looking for. I thought, as we go through the season, when we talk about the most recent game, I would just ask you, what was the best thing you guys did on Saturday, and what's the thing you need to improve on the most from that game?
We can start with the improvements. I just think like some of the mental mistakes, some, not too many penalties, but some penalties that were all controllable that we didn't have, that we just caused ourselves. They weren't aggressive penalties, as Coach Narduzzi said. They weren't like holding or, face mask or something, or offensive pass interference somewhere. It's all lining up and false starts and, illegal formation. So something we got to control. We got to be better at for Tennessee. I think, we did a great job of getting everybody involved, spreading the ball around. Whether it was at running back or receiver, tight ends, a lot of guys making catches, a lot of guys getting touches, and we finished in the red zone well. So areas of improvement we want to improve on, we did well. We got to continue to build on it now.
You mentioned about those penalties. I think you had one, the Lucas, ineligible receiver downfield, and then one more like an illegal shift that might have gotten declined or whatever. But how much was that emphasized in the offseason? Was that pretty high on the list for Coach Whipple and Coach Narduzzi of things you guys need to? It seemed like you had I don't want to say a lot, but a fair number of procedure penalties last season.
Yeah, it was a huge focus. Coach Narduzzi brought up he had a chart of penalties from last season, and then we went into spring ball. We compared to last spring, and then we went to camp compared to last camp. We were much better, and it's been a huge emphasis. And it's something that we'll continue to just try to improve on, because we feel like, if we don't beat ourselves, we'll be in a pretty good shape to win every game that we're in.
Mm-hmm. I thought one of the biggest things that stood out, at least to me on Saturday, was Lucas Krull. I feel like the first game we've really seen him 100% healthy, and he puts up like one of the best stat lines by a Pitt tight end in about 6 years or 5 years or so, with 5 for 55 and a touchdown. Is that what he did on Saturday? Is that what you guys have been seeing for the last year and a half, and what you've been anxious to see on the field from him?
Yeah, it was very consistent with everything we've done in practice and scrimmages, and when he's been healthy, that's kind of pretty much how it's been going. I've said it, in post game, and I think it'll continue to get better for him. It'll continue to open up more things. We'll install more things, and it'll only get better as we go, and it'll be able to create more opportunities for our offense.
Mm-hmm. You guys had, I think, 6 running backs touch the ball on Saturday. That's probably not going to be the case every week, but just what did you see out of that group? Obviously, I think Rodney Hammond might have ended up with the most carries out of those guys. Izzy got a lot. What just kind of overall stood out to you with the running backs in that went on Saturday?
Yeah, I would say, each guy brings something different. I think they all do different things really well. And, I think the coaches do a really good job of making sure, guys are put in certain situations to succeed, whatever play that may be, whatever their mold is. And, so I think they all did what they do very well. Vince called the ball well, and he made guys miss. Rodney was hitting the hole well. AJ got involved in the pass game well, called a few checkdowns, made some things happen with that way. Izzy with the touchdown run showed his burst of speed. So I think they all do, really good things, and they'll get involved. We'll put them in positions to succeed here, and install some more things as we go.
I wanted to ask you about, at one point you took a pretty good shot, came out of the game. Obviously you seem like you're fine. You came back in one play later, and you came and talked to us after the game. Usually when guys are still banged up, they don't get to come out and do the post-game press conference. So I'm not going to ask you how you're feeling, but I am curious about a hit like that, because I think for most human beings, if there's a 250-pound guy running full speed at you and you see him in your peripheral vision, the instinct, the reflex is to run, right? To get away from that and not let that guy hit you. You've taken plenty of shots in your career. Quarterbacks take shots. You hang in there to make the pass. How do you fight that instinct, that reflex, to not just be like, oh my God, this is going to be bad, I need to get out of here? How do you kind of overcome that reflex and hang in and take the shot and still make the pass?
Yeah, I think it's just something that I've played the position for so long. I don't know. I see it, but I don't see it. I know it's coming. Like you said, in your peripheral, it's coming, but I really don't. I'm so locked in on down the field and what I got to do. And as long as I sit in there and make the throw, I don't really care about what happens after. It's kind of like, you get hit so hard sometimes you don't even know like where it came from, like how hard it was. I knew it was a hard hit when I was laying there and I heard the crowd's reaction after they showed the replay. So I knew it must have been a pretty good one. But I mean, yeah, he was a good shot on me. Comes with the job. But, you know, as long as I can just sit in there and I make the throw, I really don't care too much what happens after.
I mean, does it happen slow enough that in your mind there's at least a little voice that says, "Oh, this is gonna hurt"? I mean, or you just not notice, you know?
No, it's make the throw, and then as soon as you get hit, you're like, yeah, he got me. You just know that it was a pretty clean shot. You know, a lot of sacks sometimes, like you got like half the lineman on them and they get you or something. But you know, when you got a guy coming clean, it feels a little bit different. So yeah, it's just different styles of hit, I would say.
Have you ever had anybody like really knock you down like that and be like, "Hey, I'm sorry, man. You know, that looked like that sucked. Like, I'm sorry that I just laid you out like that," or they pretty much just get up and walk away?
No, look at them walk away. Some guys will go the other way. They'll say some negative things, and that makes me pop up faster than if they said nothing. So yeah, it works both ways.
Well, nowadays, after they lay a hit like that, they have to get up and look for the flag, right? Because it's almost inevitable that they're going to take it.
The game is changing a little bit, you know, for the better. But I feel like some situations it's tough to be a defensive guy. You know, with having balls being thrown over the middle, and you got receivers running full speed, and you can't really, you know, tackle the way you want to tackle. It's tough, but I think it's overall better for the safety of the game.
You can abstain from this question or refrain from it. I mean, certainly you watched the film. I mean, did you think it was targeting? Do you think he should have gotten ejected for that hit?
The way they say the rule, like, yes, you know, I mean, it's in the old days, obviously it doesn't even, that's not even a thing. But you know, in this day with how the rules are, it's just, you can't do it. I was a little nervous for Phil early in the game. It was a perfect tackle, but how the rules are, you just don't know. You know, each referee sees it different. So you know, I think like I said, though, it's better for the game. It's safer.
Sure. All right. This week, you guys going to Tennessee. I mean, obviously, you know, it's an SEC game. It's on the road. For whatever Tennessee has been in, you know, the last couple of years, it's something that I think, I don't want to say strikes awe into people, but certainly there's a little respect there for being an SEC team on the road. What have you seen so far out of Tennessee's defense as you've started breaking those guys down?
Yeah, I mean, really, really talented team. Big up front. Have some really good pass rushers. Linebackers run sideline to sideline really well, and their DBs play, you know, pretty physical. They have one kid that likes to get hands on, you know, speed in the back end. So I mean, it's obviously, you know, a much bigger test than week one, especially going on the road and have to deal with the noise. And you know, we'll have to make sure we're as prepared as we can be for that. You know, but listen, I'm excited. I think it's a great opportunity for us, and you know, it'll be a dogfight for sure.
We talked, I think a few weeks ago, at some point in August, we talked about your favorite places to play on the road, or some of the crowds you've really enjoyed experiencing. I mean, what can you think of a time, or maybe what was a place where the crowd really did impact you or have the biggest impact on you guys, either just being loud or just having the momentum behind them? I mean, was, you know, Notre Dame in 2018 or one of the Virginia Tech games? I mean, what comes to mind when you think of a crowd that really impacted the game on the road for you guys?
I would say Virginia Tech, and it was my first year, that fourth down, that 4 down sequence on the goal line. There was, I mean, you couldn't hear it. It was unbelievable. It was nothing I've ever experienced, you know, in my career since then. You know, loudest place by far I played in. You know, I'm sure Tennessee's going to come right up, you know, to that or maybe exceed that. So we'll see. But I'll just go back to that one because we had to call timeout. We were in a huddle and I'm screaming and no one can hear me in a tight huddle and we're screaming on the sideline. So it was unbelievable. Yeah, so I'm excited to get back in away stadium with some great fans.
Well, I mean, speaking of fans, I mean, how was it having the fans back in Heinz Field finally? I mean, I think they announced a crowd of 41,000, but it seemed to me like they were pretty loud and enthusiastic. I mean, did you guys feed a little bit off of that?
Absolutely fed off it. Felt great throwing, you know, balls downfield and they're getting called for big gains and then hear the roar of a crowd. That's it gives you some juice, it gives you some energy. And, you know, I thought our fans were great. Our student section was awesome. You know, love scoring touchdowns on that end and being able to go down there and celebrate with, you know, with the students. So I'm excited to get back home and, you know, week 3.
Mm-hmm. So we always take the questions from the Pitt fans on Panther-Lair.com. And, you know, some are actually, these are still questions that people asked in August. So we haven't even gotten through the original group. We'll get new questions, more timely questions from people. But I thought some of these were interesting. Lane 58 Pitt asked, Kenny, how much have the facilities improved from your first year until now? What are some of the things you've really noticed around Pitt's, you know, office building and facilities that have improved over the last 5 years?
Yeah, I tell you what, our athletics partner does a great job because I feel like there's always something. Like as soon as we do something and it gets completed, there's always that next thing that's already getting started, and they're moving towards something better, which is awesome. I think the training room, the weight room, team meeting room, our locker room now at Heinz Field that got redone. They put in some really cool lights, like redid our lockers a little bit, kind of like the wallpaper and having pictures of more recent guys that played in big time games there. I would say all those things, and we all want that stadium on campus. So I'm sure they'll be starting that soon.
Oh man, do you realize the earthquakes you just sent through Pitt Fan Nation by saying that?
Everyone wants it. I think it'll be great. I think it's something that'll be great. Something I'll be pushing for, for years down the road. I'll definitely be an advocate for that. So, I'm hoping it happens soon.
I mean, you walk around Oakland enough as a student. Where are you going to put it? I mean, I'll ask you. I mean, you're a smart guy. You're senior in college graduate. You spent a lot of time in Oakland. I mean, where are you going to tear down buildings, or is there some space that you know of that I haven't been able to see yet?
Yeah, you first thing you think of the park, right? I mean, that's probably the only place you could think of. But like you said, you'd have to tear buildings down if not. But I know there's a lot of open space in that park. You can still keep part of the park, sure, but I think everyone would love a stadium on campus or right off campus. I think that'd be awesome to get back to. So hopefully that's one in the near future, the facilities that they'll be starting up.
All right. Well, you did it now. You tossed the grenade out there. I can't believe it. But I'm not falling on it. That's on you. You're going to have to take the call from EJ Borghetti and those guys while you're talking about on-campus stadiums. But all right, next question. H2P class of 2016 asks, who do you think is the smartest guy on the team? And what about the biggest jokester on the team?
Okay, well, the jokester list can go on and on. I'll start with the smartest guy. I would say Kirk Christodoulou, my roommate freshman year. I don't even know how many degrees he has now. I really couldn't tell you. He's all in on it, and he does a great job. He's a 4.0. I'd put Big Card in there too. My other roommate, he's really smart. I think he's in engineering. I think something like that. He's really smart. Does a great job in the classroom. Jokester.
Why don't you go by positions on offense? How about that? Like a quarterback, a running back, a receiver, and no line. Yeah.
Quarterback, I think we just all kind of feed off. I wouldn't say there's like a real funny guy. We all just kind of like joke with each other, and we kind of need each other to be funny. So I'll probably do the group there. Running back, Vince. O-line, Matt Gonsalves is hilarious. So is Blake Zuvic. Matt Gonsalves and Blake are hilarious together. Owen's up there too. The hot dinners are always, a spectacle when we go there and sit down for a meal. Tight end, the tight end room is in general, I'd say they're kind of like the quarterbacks. They're all funny together, and honestly, the whole defense is hilarious. I think every single guy, like the D line probably is the funniest group, of the linebackers aren't far behind. The DBs just talk a lot, but like when the D line talks and they say some funny stuff, it's good. So we have a pretty good group of comedians on the team.
All right. JJ Collins asks, from your first start at Pitt, how long did it take for the game to slow down enough for you to get to the point where you felt confident to just go out and let your ability to take over and not have to overthink everything?
I'd say towards the back half, midway through my junior year, probably, because like sophomore year, I was still trying to learn that offense. And then Coach Whip came, I'm trying to learn his offense. So I'm still in that learning stage of learning the offense, as well as trying to, master, college defenses and scheme and what people are trying to do to stop us. But I felt like, towards that middle part of my junior year, I felt really comfortable with Coach Whip. And ever since then, it's been really, I have a really good understanding of what we're doing, what teams are trying to do to us. And I can go out there and just let it rip, play fast.
All right, last question. NC Panther asks, what did the Peyton Manning School, that's not the real name of it, right? Peyton Manning Passing Academy? Is that what
Passing Academy, yeah.
Passing Academy. Yeah. What did the Passing Academy best prepare you for this season?
That's a really good question. I mean, I think what was great is I kept my notes from that first time 2 years ago. So I was able to bring that back, and I had all of how Peyton prepared and how he went through his week. And if I missed anything, I was able to go back and kind of write in stuff that I missed the first time around. So it kind of really helped me again with my preparation and film stuff and, ways to work with receivers on certain routes if we want to improve on something, really narrowing down the routes and just throwing, after practice, if I just want to master this one route with Jordan or Lucas or Tay, just throw that one route a bunch of times instead of going through, 5 different routes, and it's just not going to stick as much as if you just rep 1 or 2 out that way. So I would just say preparation again, just a bit, like probably the most important piece to being a quarterback and being successful at this level.
All right, Kenny, that's all our questions for this week. We appreciate your time. As always, congratulations on the win to opening the season. And then I guess good luck down there at Tennessee, and we'll talk to you next week.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris.
All right.